Family trees serve as intricate tapestries woven into the fabric of fantasy worlds, imbuing them into depth, history, and complexity. In the realm of fantasy literature, where magic and mythical creatures reign supreme, the importance of family trees cannot be overstated. They are not merely genealogical records, but rather living documents that breathe life into the narrative, shaping characters, politics, and the very essence of the world itself. At the heart of fantasy novels lie noble or royal families, much like the lions, whose bloodline dictate power, privilege, and destiny. Family trees become the scaffolding upon which these dynasties are built, tracing back their lineage through generations of kings, queens, princes, and princesses. They establish a line of succession, delicate alliances forged through marriage, and the flow of power within the realm. Consider the House of Stark in George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. The Stark family, with its roots stretching back through centuries of northern history, serves as a testament to the resilience and honor of their lineage. From the legendary founder Bran the Builder to the story Eddard Stark and his children, each branch of the family tree is steeped in tradition, duty, and the weight of their ancestral legacy. Through the Stark family tree, readers gain insight into the customs, values, and rivalries that shape the politics of the Seven Kingdoms. Now, why did I do that very interesting intro? That's because I have what in front of me is the Lions family tree, or the Lions dynasty in the Kingdom of Zen. So I wanted to go over the Lions dynasty and how it came about and how powerful it really became. The family line starts with Marquis. Marquis means second only to the king, or the right hand of the king, or in fact the right hand bodyguard of the king. It's out with the Marquis Charleston Latrel, who was the head of his family, but also known as the Crimson Lion, which was the first nickname of the Lion's lineage. Him and his wife obviously had the first crowned king, who was King Cedric Latrel, who was in charge for a few years. A few years went by, but a lot of things happened in this age and time. A lot of wars were going down, especially the Great Second Grand War, which matched a lot of powerhouses getting wiped off the face of the earth, like the legendary Zen Kingdom kings, which led to the Latrel Dynasty and the beginning of the Lions' reign of Zen. Obviously, he had several children, most of which died, but some of which survived, and one of which was his daughter, which was Penrhys. Coronet Penrhys was one of the people who continued the line of the Latrel. But also on the other side was the standing king, who was actually Cedric Latrel II, who also carried on the family line, becoming the secondary king of the Zen Kingdom, further establishing the Lion's sigil on Zen. He had a son who was King Vlad Latrel, who also had a daughter who became queen, but became Queen Jacil Latrel, was married to, at that time, was a nobleman who rose to the throne and rose to the kingdom as Cristiano Saint Louis III, and that started off the Saint Louis dynasty, also ending the Latrel dynasty at that point, but still keeping the same bloodline in a way between all of them. On the other side, you have the Parents family name taking on the bloodline of the Lions, but instead of becoming kings and queens, they became, well, the right hands, the Marquis of the Lions. We have Arthur Parents, who had a son, was Nolestin Parents, who had several children, but only one son who carried on the name of Parents, was Luedin Parents, who had his son, who was now a lord as they had their own landing, was Arthur Parents II, and that continued the bloodline even further, splitting up the bloodline between the married couple of Lady Manon Latrel, who brought back obviously the Tramiel name, and Lord Arthur Parents III, who continued that bloodline. Who continues it all the way down to Arthur Parents IV, was a lord at the time, who was actually still alive at the beginning of the story. That's why there's a picture of him there. And obviously you have Clarence Parents, who wife, they had two children, one of which survived and continued the name, calling himself Louis Prenez II, taking after his great-grandfather, I think, at that point, who has the current heir of the Prenez name, Alexandriel Prenez, who will continue on that bloodline, and Marquis, or a protector of the lions, standing at that point. And the Latrel name continues on from the lady over here, where even the husband actually took the name of Latrel. And well, I'm just gonna skip all of that and go all the way to Eric Latrel, who is a knight and one of the heads of the lions, who has a son, Marquis Eric Latrel II, who obviously takes that name from his great-grandfather at that point. He becomes one of the Marquis that stays alive. But now, back to the Saint Louis family bloodline, which is ridiculously complicated. Obviously, the family bloodline continued on quite normally, with Christiana the third Saint Louis being the first of the Saint Louis that carries on that bloodline, who gives birth to the King Baptiste Saint Louis, who then gives birth to several children, namely which the living heir, or the living princess, Francine du Royet, who continues her bloodline and stretching out the Lions' dynasty all the way to Timothée Pascal, who continues the Pascal bloodline, creating the twins at one point, which were Nolan Brunet and Eric Brunet. Now on the other side, you have Lucentine Drouillard, who's actually one of the recorded people who's in a very openly gay relationship with Renune Perez, but was formerly married to Isabelle Machandre, who kept her, obviously, her former name before she got married. Their one child was Francis du Royal, who continues the name of the royal family name, giving birth to 4 different children of the royal name, the du Royal name, which are in the current continuation of the story. So I won't go further with them and tell you what happens to them. Obviously, on the other side, you have a living member of the Poet name, which is Zavaric Poet, who had a son of Justin Poet, who had 3 children, who all take the name of Isabel, creating the Latrel name again. And so you have Lucien Latrel Poet, Barbarance Latrel Poet, and Sidney Latrel Poet. And of course, they had another child, which was Maud Facel, and they had a child for themselves, which was Nolan Facel, who is just a lord at that point. There's a few deceased over there. There is the crown prince here. Obviously, Baptiste II was the follow-up king after Baptiste I. Baptiste II became Baptiste II of his crown, who gave the crown to the oldest son, the second Crimson Lion, the crown prince Baptiste St. Louis III, who died with no children, with unknown ways. And so in this lineup, you have Baptiste II's children, was obviously Baptiste III and his younger brother, King Christiana St. Louis V. Now, somewhere in there I've mentioned where all the names of the Christiana St. Louis come from, but he is the 5th one of that name. Obviously, him and Queen Beatrice St. Louis had 4 children who are the main characters of this whole book. We have Logan St. Louis II, we have the crowned prince, Prince Pierre St. Louis, we have Andrew St. Louis, and we have Francis St. Louis. And then obviously he has bastard children with his maids and his former lover, Josephine St. Louis. And with Josephine St. Louis, he had 2 children, Sophia St. Louis and Princess Delphine St. Louis II, who had Baptiste St. Louis IV. Sophia St. Louis, he's married with several children, but no one really knows the record of them at this point in time. And then on the other side, he also had a fling with Julia Chopin, who had a child, Napoleon Chopin, and another fling with someone who is unknown but is deceased, who had the child Philip. All these characters play a huge role in the book at its current moment. So yeah, that right there are all the main heads of the Lion's household. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for following me on my socials. Don't forget to download Cyber Chase, Paradox Lullaby, Primal Plan, and continue to buy my book. People are liking the book and everything. I just wanted to clarify what the Lion's name means and, promote the book a little bit more. But again, thank you. Thank you for everything. Peace.